Good morning. This is a committee vote on the Committee of Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. At this time, we are ready to begin, Chair.
Good morning. Good morning, Jen. My name's Lincoln Ressler, and I'm the chair of the Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. I'd like to start off by thanking the terrific members of our committee who are joining us for today's vote, and all the members of the public who are here. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Shahana Hanif, Councilmember David Carr, Councilmember Lynn Schulman, Councilmember Gail Brewer, Councilmember Jennifer Gutierrez, and on Zoom, I believe we do have Councilmember Jim Gennaro. Thank you for joining us all. Today we'll be voting on Speaker Adrienne Adams' bill, Intro 908A, a bill that would give the Council advice and consent powers over 20 agency commissioners. In addition, we will be voting on 7 state legislative resolutions, also known as home rules or SLRs, in support of various state legislation. The updated version of Intro 908 bill subjects the chair of the City Planning Commission to advice and consent, just like all other members of the City Planning Commission who have been subject to advice and consent since 1989. And upon further review of state law, the positions of Commissioner for Emergency Management and Veterans Affairs were removed from this bill. In big cities across the country, like Chicago, Los Angeles, Houston, Phoenix, in our New York State government, in the federal government, appointments are overwhelmingly subject to advice and consent and confirmation by their respective legislatures. New York City is the anomaly. The Speaker's bill will establish checks and balances and help ensure that more experienced, more competent, more ethical leaders are serving in these critically important positions, like parks, sanitation, and DCAS. The idea of advice and consent goes back to what we learned in grade school. It's about checks and balances, and the simple idea of making sure that each branch of government has oversight over the other. A public hearing would be held by the Council to require the mayor's appointees to demonstrate, both to this body and to the public, that they are deeply knowledgeable about their agency and equipped to serve in these critically important leadership positions. If the mayor is nominating qualified professionals to head these 20 agencies, then he or she should have no problem getting consent and approval from the Council. New Yorkers deserve to have the best and the brightest in these key roles in city government. Advice and consent of the Council will help make that happen. I cannot recall a previous mayoral administration giving testimony at a Council hearing and then refusing to take questions. This administration has also made disingenuous arguments about the substance and spirit of the bill that I would like to correct on the record. Firstly, this legislation will give the Council just 30 days to review the background of a nominee, hold a public hearing, and vote, or the nominee is automatically confirmed. I found the comparison of this City Council to Tammany Hall to be extra rich coming from this administration. This legislation would require more intense vetting, more public scrutiny, more transparency, and indeed prevent political patronage appointments from ever happening. I'd also like to highlight 2 of the home rule messages that we're passing today that will improve our street safety and cleanliness. One is a home rule message in support of legislation proposed by State Senator Andrew Gennardis and Assemblymember Jeffrey Dinowitz to extend and expand New York City's red light camera program. This legislation would quadruple the number of intersections where traffic control signal photo violation monitoring systems may be installed and operated from 150 intersections to 600, establishing our New York City program as the largest in the nation. Over the past 30 years of this program's existence in New York City, there has been a 73% decline in average daily violations per camera, meaning drivers are safer and run less red lights. In 2023 alone, 29 people were killed in red light crashes, in red light running crashes, the highest number ever recorded. Installing more red light cameras will quite simply save lives. The second home rule message I'd like to highlight supports legislation to allow New York City to equip street sweepers with cameras to enforce illegal parking during alternate side parking periods. Under the state legislation proposed by Assemblymember Brian Cunningham and State Senator Robert Jackson, violators would be fined when captured on camera by the Department of Sanitation street sweepers, similar to the existing bus lane camera program that finds vehicles parked in bus lanes through cameras on MTA buses. Each street sweeper or broom picks up a literal ton of debris per shift, but it can't get the garbage if it can't access the curb. This will make our streets demonstrably cleaner and reduce the presence of rats in New York City. I'd like to conclude, finally, I'm sure for my colleagues, by saying thank you to the committee staff, Jay Sriganapathy and Erica Cohen, for their hard work. I'd especially like to thank our Intergovernmental Affairs Division, Carlos Beato, Santa Soriano Vasquez, Rick Arbello. I'd like to thank David Seitzer for his work in drafting the legislation. And I'd like to thank my staff, as always, for their great work. And I'd now like to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Good morning, William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. All items are coupled. Chair Ressler.
Aye on all.
Gennaro. Brewer.
Aye and all. I just want to add that because I'm a member of the National League of Cities, thanks to the City of New York, I've been in touch with members of the City Council in Los Angeles and Chicago. And I just want to say they've been doing advice and consent for quite some time. And one example in California was fabulous, which is that in the background check that was excellent nominee by the mayor, but more information was determined by the City Council, and the mayor recommended a harbor commissioner, and his wife was a longshore woman worker in LA. And that conflict meant that she then became a longshore woman worker in Long Beach across the river. That kind of small issue meant that there was no red flag and no conflict of interest. And in both cases, Chicago and Los Angeles, 99% of the recommendations from the mayor are accepted, but it is beloved for transparency, and information that could be found out during the process comes out, addressed, and the recommendation goes forward. So I feel very strongly about the bill that is for advice and consent. We've done it before, and I strongly urge that everyone vote for this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Gennaro. We'll come back, Councilmember Gennaro.
We're having some tech issues, but
Yes.
we'll hopefully hold it
Yes.
open for him.
Thank you. Gutierrez.
Aye on all.
Hanif.
Aye on all, and I'd like to just add my enthusiasm for the home rule messages, particularly the expansion of red light cameras and cameras on street sweepers. And of course, I'm a big supporter of Speaker Adams's advice and consent reforms. Thank you so much. Aye on all.
Schulman.
Aye and all.
Carr.
Permission to explain my vote?
Of course.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say a couple of words about Intro 908, the advice and consent bill. You know, my belief is that advice and consent, generally speaking, is a good thing in a political system. And as I said at the hearing the other day on the bill, the question before us as council members and the members of the public is inserting advice and consent into an already established and working political dynamic a good thing? That's the question that really needs to be answered. And I confess that at this moment, I don't have that answer. And I believe that it's worth continuing the dialogue and the conversation, and that ultimately this is a decision that should rest with the public, with the voting public. And so on that basis, in the interest of having this dialogue on this really weighty matter continue, I'll be voting in favor of Intro 908, even if I continue to deliberate it on it internally and maybe come out one way or the other if it eventually reaches the ballot. So that being said, I'll be voting aye on all with the exception of preconsidered SLR 8, which is the red light camera program bill, and preconsidered SLR 13, which is the photo enforcement bill for alternate side parking, and I vote aye on the rest. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Carr.
8 and 13.
Thank you. Vernikov.
Clerk, would it be okay if we ask Councilmember Gennaro to vote while we have him?
Sure. Councilmember Gennaro.
Councilmember Gennaro?
Yes, sorry for the technical difficulty. I can't see anything, but I hope you can hear me, and I vote aye on all.
Thank you,
very
Councilman.
much, Councilmember.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Andrea. Sorry. We made it work.
Palladino.
I am going to vote no on 908A. I am voting no on SLR 8, the red light cameras, and I'm voting no on SLR 13, the sanitation cameras, and aye on the rest.
Is Councilmember Vernikov coming?
Thank you. Results, committee vote. All items have been adopted with a vote of 8 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, no abstentions, with the following, exceptions of the following. Intro 908A, adopted by the committee with 7 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, no abstentions. And SLRs 8 and 13, adopted by the committee with 6 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, and no abstentions.
Clerk, are we able to keep the vote open for Councilmember Vernikov? Or do we need to, Andre, is that okay? She's on her way, if that's all right. We appreciate it.
The roll will be held open at request of the chair.